Hello, I'm RetroJules. This is my actual last game in the Mark I Centurion. I could have saved you any game footage, try and saved you my best footage, and said it was the last game. But as you've probably realised with my channel, it's honest, it's open, and it's genuine, and it is me as a tanker, tanking. So this is my actual last game in the Mark I Centurion. So what happens, happens. I have enjoyed this tank, and this video, which is running at nearly half an hour, is probably a lot longer than I normally like my videos to be. I normally like to keep them within about 10 to 20 minutes because I realise that a half-hour video, well, you need half an hour to watch it. And I think sometimes that a half an hour can be a little bit much to watch. But I've got 3 game footages on this for you, 3 different videos, because I do believe that as you're working up to the higher tiers, and bearing in mind, you know, I'm heading to the Action X, to tier 10 Centurion, you need to make sure it's going to be the right tank for you. And so not only do I show you what I'm up to, but I kind of realise that perhaps some people watching this may watch it to think, well, actually, yeah, I don't fancy that tank now, or actually, yes, I do. So it's not so much an in-depth video, but it's going to show you a few options. So this is me kind of being almost a little bit reckless and a little bit lucky, and I've got a little bit of support with me. The Mark I Centurion I enjoyed as a tank. I didn't think it was worth keeping. I had binoculars on this tank because its gun was poor, really. Excellent penetration, really, really poor pop damage. So I would use its speed more often than not to get into a spotting position and try and get some XP with some assisted damage. And that's how I played this tank, and it worked for me. And I was consistent with it, which is why I got 1 mark of excellence on it. And there's a lot of tanks that I don't have any marks of excellence. It may be because I haven't played them enough, don't play them enough. Maybe when I had those tanks, I wasn't quite as good as tanking as perhaps I am now. And when I say good at tanking, better than I used to be. Ooh, can I? Oh, nice shot squeezed through there. So I'm just kind of using this vantage point, very aware that the majority of our team have gone to the north, and we've probably left, or we have in fact left the city wide open, and we don't know where the whole team are. So the chances are, I think they're probably going to end up coming through the city, and we're quite exposed at that point. So I've done my bit up on the hill here, and a light tank roll, really, and it worked. Lost half my health, but spotted 5 enemy, 7 penetrating hits, 5 critical. It's not bad, it's okay. Not even a third into the game yet, but I see fit that it's time to bail out. And I'm concerned about the cap, so I want to try and, for want of a better word, find a tank destroyer position and just see if we can hold the enemy back. Now there's a TD and a heavy there. Can I get a shot on that fatherland? No. That bounced. In hindsight, I could have loaded up some premium, I suppose, to penetrate that tank, but actually for the outcome of this game, it's going to be neither here nor there. And at the moment, at this stage in the game, we're completely even. It's 8 aside. So I'm just trying to stay up here. And the trouble I did find with this tank is when you're in a position like this, you do have to expose yourself so many times to get the damage in, because you're only doing 230 damage per hit. So you've got to pop up, you know, several times to chip away. And it's fine if you can get that hold down position, but I don't find that hold down position is completely reliable. I don't find that this turret is bulletproof. It's relatively effective, but can't be relied on. And I'm just trying to snap shots, and I'm aware that my gunner has been taken out, and I'm a little bit reticent about using my large medipack, my first aid kit, because I'm kind of aware that the numbers are against us, and I'm just toying with the idea of whether I use it to improve my gunner. And as it happens, that happens. I was trying to snap shots in it without my gunner, and it was never really going to work. But we're going to lose this, and I didn't want to justify using that large first aid kit at that stage in the game. So that was my last game in my Mark I Centurion. Not too bad on silver, okay on damage. We lost, but I came top, and it looks like I certainly did my bit in that game. Our team fell apart and we lost. So the Centurion Mark I, absolutely not a keeper for me. It's just the pop gun makes this tank such hard work. And as much as I wouldn't say enjoyed playing it, it was okay to play. A very sort of mediocre tank, I would say. So we'll get rid of that. And this is me purchasing the Mark VII Centurion. And rather disappointingly, it looks exactly the same. So we're top tier, hurrah, that's really going to help. As I roll this tank out, it's the stock version of the Centurion 7. I have about 9,000 XP under my belt. And just going to see how we get on. I may have complained that the Centurion 1 had a bit of a pop gun. Well, of course, because this is stock, we've got exactly the same pop gun, even though we're a tier up. But actually, that pop gun can be quite effective. So I said this was a longish video, so there's another gameplay after this, and the reason I've done that is with this tank I've taken a shortcut. I have not gone for the engine upgrade. I've saved myself 40,000 XP. I decided that I would go for the big gun with this tank, but not worry too much about the engine. That does make this tank trickier to play. It feels a little bit like a heavy. I can almost imagine, probably feels like what the Conqueror is like to play. Not having played the Conqueror, I can't really justify that, but that's kind of the impression I would get. It feels like a heavy. The gun was important to me. Speed not necessary. You can get it up to top speed, it just takes longer to do it. You lose your manoeuvrability, and if you take this thing up a hill, it does almost grind to a, well, not to a halt, but it gets very, very slow. It doesn't have the power. And as I play this, you'll notice I haven't got any premium. I only put premium on the tank when I get the full gun upgrade, so I know exactly what I need, how many I need, and how I want to play it. And I still got binoculars, because effectively this is exactly the same as the tank I just sold. So I'm still hopefully going to use it for reconnaissance. And a WZ goes whipping by. And I'm going to stay in this spot for a while. It's quite a handy spot for me. Very much come a victim of this spot to Arty in a light tank, but there's no Arty in play. I know for a fact that Arty can hit this spot very accurately. It's not protected, but today I don't have to worry about that. And I'm just hoping and getting these lovely soft side shots into these tanks as they cross. That Fatherland rises up, gets front on. And of course I've only got a tier 8 gun on this, so even though I'm tier 9, that's really only a number in the stats. Effectively, we're all the same tier in this. Yeah, Fatherland side scraping, and it works.
Enemies looking right at us. Releasing target.
And I'm thinking about maybe my work is done here. I'll go and support the guys at J3, and then I see the T-29 steaming through the bowl of death.
They found us.
So I feel that actually I should really stay and help to protect that T-29. Although that T-29 is heading north.
Got him.
No, it's not. It's coming back round. Brilliant. I'm going to stay here.
Loaded up.
This could potentially be a little bit boring to watch. This is why I don't play tank destroyers. Because this, for me,
We've been detected.
is soul destroying when you just stay in the same spot. You don't get to see the map, you don't really get to see the enemy, you're just taking advantage of them being in the wrong place at the wrong time and popping shots into them. But that's what this game is about. I found a good spot and I'm doing some decent damage and I'm being beneficial here. So I am going to stay here.
Reloaded.
And I was probably thinking of charging across there, and for some reason I've stopped. Can't help thinking, yeah, I'm a little bit exposed there. Get back up to where you were. Oh, can't believe that shot went in. That was a good shot.
Locked on.
Must have just got the cheeks, or maybe the turret ring on that Fatherland.
Target
Down to just below half health now. Tier 9 TD.
ready to fire.
Snatch a shot, but pay the price for it, and now I can't take any more shots. That was quite probably a bit silly because that object was waiting for me to poke out. So I need to be keeping an eye on J3. We're outnumbered 4-3 there, and it looks like one of the light tanks is really giving us a run for our money and messing us around. And I don't know how long it takes for me to react to that. It's now at H2. It's really dicking one of our heavies around. Yep, I've seen it. It is time to leave this magic spot. Hurrah! Get to see a little bit more of the map. Let's go and see if I can be of use and support our team. And so far, I'm quite pleased with 13 penetrating hits, 4 critical, and 4 enemies spotted. And I'm showing you this game because for a stock game I thought it was actually quite successful. Just hanging back, very much aware that as a stock tank I'm not that effective. There's that WZ lit up. That fire's really going to help with the damage. We're up to 20 penetrating hits now and our first tank kill. Time to sweep round. I would say that we've got this game in the bag. But I do need to be careful because I would quite like to survive. And anything can take me out now. I daren't even sneeze. So can I come round and help with that heavy at G5, the T-29, engaging our T-29. It's just taken our T-29 out, it's just fired. Does it know I'm here? No. A quick snatch of an auto-aim works brilliantly. Just get hull down. T-29 takes its shot. We're good to go. T-29 down. Second kill. Hurrah. One heavy, which I think is the Black Prince, and a TD. And if I was a proper tanker, I'd be bringing up the tank list now to see what those tanks are exactly. But, like I said, if I was a good tanker. So it's a Fatherland. So it wasn't the Black Prince. Kind of lost track of the Black Prince, I think. That must have been taken out a while ago. just a TD left. Well, I doubt very much that I'm going to be the one that finds a TD. I think our guys coming up to the cap are probably going to find it there somewhere. But we'll head in that direction. You never know. It's up high. It's just rolled down. It's taken a heavy on its way. So it's just fired. Oh, there it is. And a quick snap auto aim seals the deal. 23 penetrating hits, 3 tank kills. Quite a pleasing end result. A very healthy 45 grand silver, 4,000 XP, 4,000 damage. Just a nice, careful, solid game. And finally, my fully upgraded Tier 9 Mark 7 British medium Centurion on steps. And finally, I've got the shopping baskets on my turret. Really happy about that. I've got somewhere to keep my lunch and my flask of hot tomato soup for when we have a break. It's an encounter battle, so I'm already heading for the northeast direction. And the only thing missing from this tank for me is a searchlight, and that is pretty much the one and only reason I'm going for the Action X. I like spotlights on my tanks. That's why I like my T62A, and that's why I'm heading for the Action X. So I finally got the big gun. I've got my 268mm of penetration. I've got a very decent 390 damage now. 10-second reload. I've got a fully trained crew in this now. They've got situational awareness, they've got reconnaissance, they've got sixth sense, they've got repairs, they've got brothers in arms. They're currently training in track mechanic. I've obviously been tracked a lot in this tank, because normally I would probably have gone for snapshot first, but for whatever reason I'm going for track mechanic. I've got 73,000 XP on this tank as we speak, and it's fitted with vert stabs, vents and optics. So that's the tank that you're seeing in front of you, all kitted up. And I wanted to show you this footage because it does not have the engine upgrade. Like I said, I took a shortcut because I wasn't keeping this tank. I always wanted to make sure I got a decent gun, but I wasn't too bothered about manoeuvrability. And I don't know that it makes a massive difference. It's just a little bit on the sluggish side. It gets to top speed, just takes a little while to get there. But when you really notice it is when you're trying to manoeuvre or reverse out of trouble, or when you're climbing hills. It really does slow down. So we are heading for the cap, and that grill is spotting up there, and I'm kind of like, come on mate, follow me. You know, the cap's over there, it's an encounter battle. That's where the action is. And we get an affirmative, which is great. And somebody says, on my way. It's so nice when you get a team that are responsive and responsible. So I feel quite good about this game. The majority of their team is over in the west, but I can't help thinking that they're going to try and cap, and yes, they are. So I'm going to go straight in, IS-3 on very little health, auto aim, job done, take a big hit from that leopard. And now we're going in for the Leo. The Leo's fired. I just snap a quick auto aim, get some damage in. Now you've probably heard me say in previous videos that I'm trying to get out of the habit of auto aiming, and there's all sorts of pros and cons for doing it and not doing it, but the trouble is I've now got this tank which is pretty accurate with excellent penetration. So as long as you're not auto aiming for the very front of a tank, it nearly always goes in. I've also got my tier 9 Batchat, which is absolutely an auto-aim tank. Auto-aim on the tank, circle round it, unload your drum, unleash hell and destroy it. And suddenly I'm playing 2 tanks where auto-aiming really works. And it's quite beneficial, and it hasn't caused me any problems. So I guess I've just got to identify the tanks that it doesn't work on so well and try and get out the habit of doing it on those. So you're going to see a lot of auto-aiming on this, and a lot of very successful auto-aiming too. Currently we're on 4 tank kills and 8 penetrating shots. 4 tanks spotted, and no, sorry, 2 tanks spotted and 4 assist ribbons. I really should know my ribbons by now. Cap protected, defended, the enemy taken out. So now, fortunately, our very responsive, responsible team aren't capping. Hurrah! Everyone knows that we've got the advantage, and we're going to do the decent thing and destroy the enemy. Hopefully. Things would have to go pretty... oh, just missed that. Pretty belly up to go wrong. Now there's a TD at the back because I saw that shot come across, and yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. So let's let that Hollandhund get out of range, because I'm hoping to cross over the rail tracks. There it is at the back, and I know my loader is out, and again I've got one of these premium first aid kits, one of these large first aid kits. Do I use it? I'm thinking about it, and oh, look at that reload. Dreadfully long reload. I could have had a shot in by now, so yeah, time to use it. I've got so many free ones that I'm trying to use them up, and I do find them quite beneficial. But when it comes to actually having to use them, I think, oh, do I want to? Is something else going to happen to my crew? But I think we're pretty safe at this stage. I'm on a smidge of health. Not an ideal situation at this stage in the game. It would be nice to have half health at least here. So I'm going to hang back, because I do not want to be a target. 1 TD left. So I get over the railroad, keeping cover, just to see if I can get there in time and be of benefit. It's a Death Star. Nice juicy shot in, and the Death Star's taken out, and we win. Hurrah. So I just wanted to show you that footage, because I think this tank can and is still very effective without fully unlocking and upgrading the engine. 50,000 silver, 2,300 XP, just under 4,000 damage, first class mastery, and Retro comes second. Quite a pleasing, solid game. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me progress from the Mark I Centurion to the Mark 7 fully upgraded Centurion. Keep safe, keep tanking, and I'll see you soon.